This is problem 3.09 from Francois Tardieu's Backgammon Strategic Concepts book. This is from chapter 3, Playing with or Against a Lone Back Checker. This is the position. We're green. We rolled a 4-3. Our home board's in the bottom right. Look at three of the moves, three of the possible moves, and try to figure out which one is best and why. I'll give you my quick observations on each of the moves. We'll look at some of Tardieu's key points, as well as Tardieu's expert analysis with feedback from XG. Then we'll look at Tardieu's summary, and then I'll modify the position, which raises a few questions. At the end of the video, I'll show you Dan Rovira's video called 10 Key Backgammon Concepts from his Backgammon is Beautiful YouTube channel. Some points to remember when playing with or against a lone back checker. Lone back checker can run to freedom in a single roll. However, it's also vulnerable to being blitzed by the opponent. Tardieu has some priorities when playing against a lone back checker. Our number one priority is to stop our opponent from escaping their lone back checkers. We need to stop this guy from getting free or safe. I keep him back here. We're going to do that by hitting, slotting, or priming our opponent to keep this from getting to freedom. Here's the first possible move, moving 21 to 14, starting our escape. This mobilizes one of our back checkers, gets it moving. Runs when white has a fairly weak board. Leaves two blots. Races when we're behind in the race. We're still behind by 9 pips after the move. And it runs when we have a weaker home board. We've got 1 point covered in our home board. White's got 2. It also abandons our advanced anchor. So this advanced anchor is now gone. Second possible move is to bring one down from the midpoint, 13 to 6, like this. This leaves no blots, maintains our advanced anchor, strips our midpoint, however, adds another checker to our already stacked 6-point, and leaves us with a very inflexible board. Third possible play is to make what is called a pure play by hitting loose on the 3-point and bringing a checker down from the midpoint, 13-9, 6-3, like this. This makes a bold move when we have an advanced anchor. A good time to make a bold move is when you have an advanced anchor. This hinders white's lone back checker from escaping. Now white's checker's on the bar. So now it's going to be more difficult for this white checker to get to freedom and safety. Maintains our advanced anchor. Still have it. Strips our midpoint. And leaves 2 blots. Here's all 3 moves. Compare them. Think of which one looks best to you. Think of things like the pip count, strength of each player's board, threats facing each player. Which one looks best to you? Let's see what Tardieu and XG have to say. Play where we move 21 to 14, like this, starting our escape for back checkers. Gives up all of our assets, namely our advanced anchor, for nothing. So this can be ruled out immediately. So here, by having this advanced anchor, we were able to use that advanced anchor in case we got hit. We could come right back on. Having an advanced anchor like this gives us some control over the outfield here. So if white decided to bring a checker down, a single checker, we can hit it. And also having an advanced anchor prevents us from being blitzed. Also, an advanced anchor prevents us from being primed. We're down in the race, so it's not a good time to do this and to break our anchor. And it's not a good time to break our anchor when we have the weaker board. So this one is a very bad roll. The third move, the roll where we move 13 to 6, bring one down from the midpoint, like this, looks safe. However, it damages our distribution by putting 6 checkers on the 6 point here. Now we're very stacked, which we don't want to be. And it strips our midpoint. Now we only have 2 checkers back on our midpoint, which strips it. Which means if we're going to use this to hit, we use a checker from our midpoint to hit another point, another checker, we're going to have to break this point. So the best play, according to Tardieu and XG, is to make what they call a pure play, where we hit loose on the 3 point and bring a checker down from our midpoint. We improve our timing by hitting the blot on the 3 point and unstacking our heavy 6 point. The checker on the 9 point can be used to blitz or prime. By hitting the blot on the 3 point, we're helping to keep white's last checker back while also developing our own position. And we're not really that worried about getting hit because we're already behind in the race. We have our advanced anchor, which will make it easier to re-enter if we do get hit. So we're going to make a bold play, and we're doing it at a good time. And it's not a great roll, so we're making the best out of not a great roll. So this move, we are slotting a priming point. I wouldn't say it's key. We'd rather slot the 4 or 5 or 7 points and then make those later before the 3 point, but this is the best we can do with this move, the 3 point. Also, we're slowing our opponent's development down, and we're also hindering the mobility of our opponent's checkers with this move. Tardieu's summary: with an advanced anchor and a racing deficit, we need to play pure and positional backgammon. The upsides generally outweigh the potential dangers. When Tardieu talks about playing with purity, he's talking about a style of play where the goal of playing pure is to create a structure without gaps. So for instance, here's a position where we roll the 3-2. The pure play would be to make the 5 point with the 3-2. The play which is more flexible and not pure is making the 4 point, leaves us with more builders on the 6 and the 8, but this one's pure, this one gives us more flexibility. The goal of playing pure is to create a structure without gaps. So in our position, we really can't do, like I said, we prefer the 4, 5, or 7 points to slot them and then cover them. But the best we can do with this move in this position is to hit on the 3 and then cover it. And then hopefully build a prime from our 3 to our 8 point. Keep white back here on the 1 or 2. I was thinking, what if we could have run one of these checkers to the midpoint safely? So I modified the position to move our anchor up to the 20 point. And so now with the 4-3, we can run to the midpoint safely with one of our back checkers. I wondered if that would make it any better to make that move 20 to the midpoint, 13. And let's see what XG does or says. If we do that, if we move our anchor from our 21 point up to our 20 point, XG tells us it's still a big blunder to try to escape one of these back checkers. We should still bring a checker down from our midpoint, 13.9, and still hit loose 6-3. Moving 20 to 13, leaving ourselves exposed, and the white's 5-point is still a huge blunder, 322. I believe this reinforces the guidelines to not break an advanced anchor if we're behind in the race and we have a weaker home board, which we have both of those. We're still behind in the race, and we do have the weaker home board. So we should not break this anchor. We should not move 20 to 13. I think I'm interpreting this correctly, but I might be missing something. Let me know if you agree or not, or if you have a question or comment. All feedback is welcome. Be sure to check out Dan Rovira's Backgammon is Beautiful YouTube channel and his video, 10 Key Backgammon Concepts, which goes over 10 key concepts, including purity.